Hello everyone and welcome to a new video from Your Overwatch. I'm Eddie the Chump and today we'll be talking about some common terms that are misunderstood and misused by a lot of the community. You'll often hear these in competitive games and a little knowledge can be a terrible thing. If you understand a mere fraction of an idea and yet use it as if you have a more complete grasp, you can easily misdiagnose problems in a game or provide your teammates with bad information. This video will cover some of the more prominent examples. Why using terms properly matters. A big part of the problem with misusing terms lies in your ability to properly assess what is happening in a game. As we've previously said, the best decisions are made with the most accurate information. If you make a call or use a term to try and influence your teammates, you can really throw them into a situation where they make massive misplays, based purely off of imperfect information to begin with. This happens a lot when people think they know what's happening, but actually are being lazy or complacent with their observations. Getting a pick. Oh, this first example is a doozy. One of the most misunderstood concepts, let alone terms, is the idea of getting a pick. What this idea actually represents is eliminating a target before the break of a fight has occurred. It is, in its purest form, an entry frag. This is really important. The timing of the elimination is key. If you're setting up a Widow or a Roadhog to get picks, you're essentially saying that you're going to use them as a lock pick, hence the term. They're going to be the key to unlocking an enemy team's defense, from which you can exploit an opening. How people misuse it is to describe either regular frags that occur in a team fight, or even worse, frags that occur after a fight has actually happened. If you're playing Widow but are taking too long to secure a kill, you're not getting picks. You could be using your team as bait to secure non-vital or trash frags. In short, picks are not just frags or elims, they are a very specific version of those, done at a specific time for a specific purpose. Understanding this is crucial as it's one of the only ways you can tell if playing Widow in a certain context is actually working. Are you getting early kills and opening up fights for your team? Or in the bad context, are you just securing meaningless kills after a fight has passed you by which your team has already lost? The difference between these two should be obvious after you process this information. Flexing. This term is misused all the time. First, let's define what it actually is. Flexing is making a tactical swap, one that has a purpose and is designed to generate an edge. Like swapping off from a Lucio on Hanamura attack first point when nobody uses your speed boosts. I'm not bitter, I swear. Swapping off a tank or a healer to do a job that needs to be done could be considered flexing. What flexing isn't, and is most commonly misunderstood to be, is actually fill. Fill picking something because you assume your team will need it, which in turn is based on a more standard or default way of playing. That's not necessarily bad. Maybe your team has no healers and 5 DPS. You might be forced into it. You might not be the best Ana, but you pick her anyways for the good of the team. That's not flexing, but people regularly confuse the two. Why is this important? Well, flexing would hopefully demonstrate a deeper understanding of the meta exchanges taking place in any given game. Filling is much more a paint by numbers sort of approach. Pick X, it's more meta. When people make calls to swap to something because it's more meta, it's not always wrong. However, there is one context where this thinking falls a bit short, and that's when your opponents aren't playing meta and actually beating you. In that scenario, you should at the very least consider letting go of your standard ideas and think creatively. For instance, you do not need more tanks to slowly walk into a Junkrat Symmetra spam combo. The mistake is when you fail to realize the top of the meta doesn't apply to the game you're currently in. For example, Torb and Symmetra are good against slower tank heavy lineups that don't really ever get going anywhere. In this scenario, what the pros do is engage from great range, like using a Pharah whose damage doesn't fall off because of distance and stay out of their killing zone. What they don't do is pick all the meta heroes and wonder why it isn't working against an unorthodox setup. If you keep your mind fixed like that, you're not going to know where Widow is actually good or how Bastion can destroy a static tank heavy defense. In summary then, don't use terms you don't fully understand in a flippant way. Instead, learn what they actually mean. Not knowing something is fine, but being flat out wrong or misguiding your teammates or yourself is not. One of the most dangerous things on the planet is shallow knowledge pretending to be profound understanding. And I'll be honest, I've made these mistakes too. That's why I'm here, making the very points I am to you. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like. If you want us to talk about anything specific, please don't hesitate to leave a comment below. Also, please follow the Your Overwatch Twitter. It's where you can find updates about new videos and streams. I've been Eddie the Chump, and until next time.